Your home was supposed to be your American dream, your security, your future. But now, rising taxes, rising insurance costs, and unbelievable maintenance costs are eating into your savings, your equity, and your retirement. You're trapped with wealth you can't touch in a house that's draining you. That's the harsh reality of being house poor. The problem isn't owning a house today. The problem is the 6 leaks that quietly drain your equity and your savings account. Let's go through them one by one. Keep in mind that at this stage of your home ownership, you may have a lot of equity in your house, but monthly cash flow is draining you and straining you and giving you emotional and financial stress. The first leak to your dreams is obviously the insurance. If you have a house, you probably have home insurance and other insurances, auto and other tenants, property insurance, etc. And guess what? They have skyrocketed more in Texas, Florida, and California than other states. But regardless, my insurance has gone up skyrocketing. It's gone up 30% in the last year or so. And I know it's going to go up more. And it went up last year as well. And I'm sure that thousands and thousands of homeowners are having the same issue. Insurance is digging into your payments, your mortgage payments, principal, interest, tax, and insurance. Even though it was fixed, it's fixed no more because the insurance, which is required by the lender if you have a loan, is skyrocketing. So your payments skyrocketing, and that's digging into your retirement, into your savings, into your equity and your lifestyle. And the second leak in the house, and this is for most every home in America today, is the property taxes. As the home values went up, so did your property taxes, because as your homes go up, property taxes go up. But the unfortunate thing is that in certain states, greedy counties, greedy cities, they have increased the property taxes significantly. I've heard of homeowners' property taxes going from $5,000 a year to $10,000 a year to $15,000 a year. Yes, that's not a joke. So those guys, those homeowners are choking today, especially the seniors, especially the homeowners who have owned their homes for 20, 30 years on a fixed income, and now the property tax is going up from $6,000 to $10,000. I've been here for almost 25 years or more, and every year my property tax goes up and up and up. Luckily, I'm in California, so we have a control on property taxes because of Prop 13, the Howard Jarvis proposition set back in the mid 80s. But other states have no control, and the cities and the counties and the states are taking full advantage of higher prices, charging you more just because they can, and it's cutting into your pockets. Let's talk about the HOA fees, Homeowners Association. A lot of the buyers bought new homes and they want to buy new homes, new townhouses, new condos, or communities that offer pools and tennis courts and gyms and parks, etc. So they end up paying Homeowners Association, which is the HOA. But guess what? That has happened. Two things have happened with the HOA. Number one, the property management companies, because their overall operating expenses has gone up, they're passing it on to the Homeowners Association. The repairs, the maintenance, the upkeep, it's expensive. So they pass it on to you and me, the homeowners, if you have HOA. On top of that, when your insurance goes up, the Homeowners Association's insurance goes up, skyrocketing, right? So what they do is they pass it on to the homeowners. So one, you are paying higher insurance because your individual insurance went up. On top of that, the HOA is increased because of insurance. So you have a double whammy. So HOA is a big crisis, especially in Florida with all the hurricanes, all the disasters and all the buildings falling down. The Florida homeowners insurance has skyrocketed, double, triple, quadruple because of insurance. Let's talk about something that we cannot avoid, and that is the home utilities. As a homeowner, you have electric bills, gas bills, water bills, and other bills. And guess what? All of those have gone up. My water bill was $500 this month. It has been the highest ever. And I'm using the same water, same amount of water. And it has almost doubled. I don't know why, but it is a fact. And I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to question it. It is what it is. And I'm paying for it. But these utilities, that has gone up. In Southern California, there's a crisis. So they're increasing more. Electricity is coming up. Gas bills are very high. Tariffs may have an effect on it, may not have an effect on it. But all utilities nationwide is going up. So if If your mortgage payment, principal, interest, tax, insurance was at a set limit, which went up, and if your utilities were at set limit, every month you pay your gas, water, electric bills, let's say $100 or $200 or $300 a month you've been paying, now you may end up paying $350 or $400. So that's another thing cutting into you. You just cannot avoid it, because when the utility company's expenses go up, and they have gone up because they have to pay insurance, they have to pay for labor, they have to pay for maintenance, they pass it on to us suckers, the consumers. The fifth leak that I want to talk about is the capex repairs. Obviously, when you bought the house, it is for your future and for your security and for your dream, and you have to maintain it. It's an asset, and if it's an asset, you have to maintain it. You have a roof that goes down. I have fixed my roof 3 times in the last 25 years. I've replaced my air conditioning, cost me $15,000. My heater is about to go. That's going to cost me another $10,000. So these assets that we have to fix, we have to do it. We have no choice. One, if it gets cold, I need the heater, so I have to fix it, especially if I have kids or grandpa or mom or dad. And in certain states where the weather is severe, Denver, Montana, Idaho, where it gets really cold, or if you're in Arizona or Texas where it gets really hot, you need the AC, you need the gas, etc. So you have no choice. So those are becoming very expensive, and when you repair those things, it costs you a lot of money to maintain your house. You have no choice. If you have a slab leak, you gotta fix it tomorrow. You cannot wait for 6 months. You cannot wait for your insurance to come and fix it. You gotta fix it and then worry about doing that. As you may know, housing repairs and housing maintenance is something you have to do, and no lender tells you that, no realtor tells you that, but on average, maintaining a house costs you anywhere from 1% to 3%, depending on where you are and what kind of house that you buy. If you buy a newer house, you will have less maintenance in the beginning. If you buy an older home in okay condition, it's going to cost you more. In other words, if you buy a house for $400,000 today, be prepared to pay anywhere from $4,000 to $12,000 per year on average. Whereas in California, if I buy a $1 million home, which is the average in my neighborhood, I should be prepared to pay $10,000 to $30,000 on average over the years every year, because that's what it costs. If I fix my roof today, a roof costs $40,000 right off the bat. If I have a pool, or if I have an HVAC to be replaced, the air conditioning costs $20,000 today. I have a painter coming in today to give me a quote, just the outside. One has already quoted me $7,000, and I'm worried to see what this roofer is going to give me a quote today. And that's just the exterior paint, not counting the interior. Leak number 6 I want to talk about is your furnishings and upgrades. Obviously, we buy a house because we want to feel comfortable. We want to enjoy it. It's our dream home. We have friends over. We have families over. We may have kids. We may have parents. We may have grandparents. So if you live in a house, sooner or later, you're going to have to replace some things like a dishwasher, or you may want to add a room because now you got 2 kids and you had 1, so you need another room, or you want to upkeep your garden because now you want to spend more time in the garden. So owning a home not only costs you in repairs that you have to do, but you have to do intentional repairs and upgrades to keep up with the Joneses. Let's face it, we are humans. So if my neighbor puts a nice barbecue outside, I want to do it too. I want to look cool. I want to impress my friends, my neighbors, my family. That's just part of human nature. So we are, whether we like it or not, gonna buy a new dishwasher, gonna put a barbecue, gonna put a pool, have some great landscaping, etc. And whether we like it or not, it's gonna happen and it's gonna cost you. So on top of the maintenance cost, you're gonna have cost of remodeling and upgrades just because you want it. We are human beings and we want things, and upgrades is one of the things. We want things. Each leak doesn't sink the ship alone, but together they drain you dry. I'm going to give you a bonus point of why the money is drained. But before I do that, I'd like to find out, make a comment below to see what is hindering you, or if you know somebody and what's hindering them the most. Is it the repairs? Is it the insurance? Is it the property tax? Let us know what's affecting you or somebody you know. And at the same time, I have a network of the top agents in all over USA. And if you want to talk to somebody about, hey, what's my house is worth? What should I fix? What should I upgrade or not upgrade? And just get an idea if you're thinking about selling your home, or if you may be thinking about selling down the road and start getting prepared. It's always a good idea to get opinions of 1 or 2 realtors, and I'll be glad to refer you a top agent in your local neighborhood just so that you get an idea. There's a link below in the description and also on the first comment. So the seventh leak I wanted to talk about, what's draining you and your finances, is your time and energy. Imagine that you want to fix something in your yard and you can't afford it, and now you're going to do it every weekend or 3 hours a weekend, or you took a weekend. That cost you a lot of time. That cost you a lot of energy. Maybe you did not take your kids to the park because you had to fix something. So every time you do something in your house, what we call sweat equity, that's how you build equity, not only financially, but keeping it upgraded and doing the repairs. And if you don't want to pay somebody else, I always pay to have somebody done because I'm not a handyman. I don't even own a hammer in my house. So I have to call somebody, and it's expensive. A lot of people like to fix things. A lot of people like to repair things and do it on their own. Yes, you'll save a lot of money, but it's costing you time and energy. The time you could have spent with your kids, or your wife, or your husband, or your parents, or going to a class, or going to a yoga, or going to the gym. So there is a cost, time and energy. The question is, what value do you put when it comes to time and energy? That's another big drain that nobody considers, but it's there. I wanted to talk briefly about approval and affordability. A lot of people today, you probably own a home for a long time, but a lot of the newer buyers who bought their homes 3 years ago, 5 years ago, they bought according to what the lender told them and what they were approved for. Hey, Mike, you can buy a house up to $400,000. Your payment's going to be $3,000. So I'm very happy I go buy a house. Now when I move in and after 2 years I have a roof leak, or I have an air conditioning not working, or something happens, I have to go fix it. Guess what? I don't have the money, or my property taxes went up, my insurance went up, my HOA went up, my electricity went up. So all of a sudden the $3,000 a month that I was paying and the $500 that I was paying for other things, now it's at $5,000. Oops, can't afford it. I'm going to lose my house. So when a lot of people bought, they bought at what they were approved for, not what they could afford. And a lot of the lenders and realtors don't talk about it, but they've started talking more and more about, hey, if you're approved for $3,000 or $4,000 a month, be prepared in a couple of years to be able to afford $500 more a month, or $600 more a month, or even $1,000 more per month. So that is a new consideration new home buyers will have to make, and they have to be told. But other buyers, I bought my house 25 years ago. Nobody told me that my property tax was going to go up. My HOA over the last 25 years have more than tripled because I have 2 HOAs, and nobody told me they go up. I just bought. I was a brand new homeowner. I was not a realtor at that time, and I bought, and I'm paying the price in higher fees and cutting costs on other things, because to pay my extra HOA fees and insurance, I have to cut costs. Maybe I have to cut my vacation. Maybe I have to buy a used car instead of a new car. Maybe I have to put an air conditioning that's a mediocre price than a top of the line price. So all these things cost. So approval and affordability are two things that needs to be taught to the new buyers and also the older buyers. If you're thinking about selling now, don't repeat the mistake when you buy your next place. Downsize under your means, not up to your limit. Hopefully that helps when you make your move again. Currently in this housing market, there's a lot of talk about, hey, buying a house is not the American dream. The new American dream is renting. And now they're saying, the experts are saying, a lot of realtors are saying, a lot of lenders are telling the buyers, you know what, you might be better renting than buying because renting is cheaper. In a way, that is very true. Of course, if you're a homeowner, if you had your house and you've had the advantage of the big run in appreciation, your home value has grown, doubled, probably tripled. It might have gone up 30% in just last 3 or 4 years. So you're at an advantage because you have equity. But guess what? That equity is trapped in your house. That's why we say that Americans are equity rich but house poor. That equity is there. My house has quadrupled. So I have a lot of equity in there. But guess what? I don't have access to it. It means nothing. The only time that equity means to me is when I sell it and pull the money out. That's when I become rich. But until then, I'm still poor. Yes, you might say, well, what if I refinance and pull the cash out? Well, great. You can pull the cash out, but now that cash is costing you money because you're going to pay 6.5%, 7% interest rate, especially if it's a cash out refinance. So it costs you more to pull the cash out. So nothing is free in this world anymore. If you're rich, you're rich on paper. The only time you will become rich as a homeowner is when you sell it. Until then, it's just an equity. It's just a number. It has no meaning. It has no value. Maybe it'll help your ego. Hey, guess what? My house is paid off. I have equity. But that equity means nothing to anybody. One of the things I wanted to mention on is that if you're a homeowner, you may want to consider paying off your house faster, or you might have paid off your house faster. That's an advantage because what happens is if you have paid off your mortgage, your principal and interest, that is gone. So even now, if the property taxes increase, if your insurance increases, your HOA increases, at least you don't have the principal and interest, so you are able to afford any increases. And at the same time, as you are staying longer and longer, statistically, and when it comes to average stats, your home value is increasing, your equity is increasing. So yes, you are getting rich on paper. So when it comes time for you to downsize, and if you consider downsizing, or maybe you want to move up to a bigger house because your family is bigger, you have kids or you have grandkids, or your parents are moving in with you, or your grandparents are moving in with you, then that really helps, because now as you stay in the house, you're building equity, which does help when you sell and when you downsize. You can use that equity to put a big down payment on your next house, whether it's a bigger house or a smaller house. If your home is draining your reserves, it may be time to sell strategically, downsize, relocate, or cash out equity before your retirement comes. I wanted to leave you a great thought at the end of this video, but before I do that, I did this video a couple of weeks ago and it had a lot of views. It's titled "Mortgage Payments Are Skyrocketing. Homeowners Are Going Broke." Please watch it, it'll give you a lot of ideas. Being rich but cash poor isn't just for young buyers. It hits hardest in midlife, when the costs stack up and retirement is on the horizon. Don't let your home silently drain your wealth. If you're a homeowner thinking about selling, or just wondering whether to keep holding, now is the time to run the numbers honestly. Feel free to contact me. I'll be glad to guide you. Mike Patel, Home Savvy Central.